Please listen carefully.
Well, hello, universe, and welcome to the Optimist Daily Update. I'm Kristy Jansen.
And I'm Summers McKay.
And we're part of the team behind the Optimist Daily, making solutions the news. We bring you reader-funded solutions news every day in order to change the tenor of news media, social media, and the direction of your day to help make it one focused on solutions.
7 days a week, we publish positive news stories written by award-winning journalists and delivered online to your inbox and through our social channels. And also, we are sharing these solutions in a commute-worthy, walk-worthy, home office-worthy, dig in a pile of dirt-worthy podcast. Today is Monday the 11th? 12th.
No, it's 12th.
Monday the 12th of April, 2021. Usually I don't even need that updated. Usually I know what day of the week it is or what day of the month it is. But today I am really tired. So, yeah, it's Monday the 12th. Definitely I will avoid saying case of the Mondays, but we did have a very early morning with a very, very excited toddler today that started around 3:30 a.m. and sort of ended when she decided to fall asleep on our way to school. So I then had to drive through the beautiful Texas hill country for 45 minutes so she could take a nap before she went to her school today. So I am not on my A game this morning, Kristy. How are you?
Well, I had a much more restful night's sleep than you did. I'm feeling very well. And I have to say I've maintained this sense of vitality that I regained by doing whatever I've been doing over the last couple of weeks. I think the cleanse helped, but I think it's just also saying, hey, I need to do something different and starting to talk about the sense that I was maybe falling into a depression and all the different steps. I mean, talking with you, Summers, was invaluable. Just sort of reaching out to the different people in my life who have been here as a support network for me. And I feel like I've come through it and I'm very, very grateful. But that's just where I am today. I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. And every day I'm feeling like wonderful that I have this vitality back. So
yeah,
I had a good weekend.
Gift.
And
did you do anything special this weekend? Did you have any adventures or any hikes or any walks or just space?
Just space. And my cleaning frenzy has continued, my spring cleaning, and which always makes me feel good too.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to being able to go out into the world again without feeling paranoid about other people.
Right.
I'm in the process of getting my vaccinations. I have my second vaccine will be this week. My husband got his second vaccine on Friday. And I know that some people are very wary of it, and I totally understand that. But I do feel excited to when we can go out into the world and not feel paranoid.
Right.
That we're going to die or bring the pestilence into our homes and kill something that we love.
Yeah. Or bring it to someone. We were talking this morning in our check-in, and I know everyone really wants to hear the news, but I'm going to tell you my feelings anyway. There was a certain amount of emotion and grief in my own experience. I think part one being really tired, and then two, just thinking about this year that has gone by, and by hook or by crook, my family and I have made it a good year, right? We have worked hard. We have had a wonderful time growing up, helping our little girl grow up. We've stayed positive and stayed optimistic and stayed determined throughout this whole experience. But now that both of my parents are vaccinated, I feel such a unbelievable sense of relief because I spent so much of last year not doing things, not being places to protect our community, but also to really protect them. And this space that I feel in the new environment that we're living in with, last night we went to listen to outdoor music and have a picnic outside, which I never would have done in California or with the potential experience of interacting with my parents because there was just too much risk. And I think for me this morning, I really felt the weight of the risk we've been balancing for this whole year. As we all move back into a different new version of life, I think we're all going to have different experiences of sort of anxiety or grief or joy. And I think it really is grief, which we all know grief is not linear. And you kind of go through cyclical phases of knowing what it means to you. So, Kristy, I am elated that you are through the current depression phase and moving into the vitality and joy phase. And I think I probably could use some, garlic lemon juice to get myself a little vibed up again.
I mean, you're also you've just moved your whole community. You're in a whole new world. You've got to give yourself some time to make new on the ground friendships where you are now. Find your people in Texas.
Well, so I think I kind of found some of my people over the weekend, actually. And it's part of the story that I want to talk about. But do you want to go first and talk about boats, or do we want to talk about trash?
I'll talk. Let's do boats really quick, because both of our stories are about cleaning up the environment, cleaning up how we move around in it and what we do with it. And they're also both focused in Europe, which is doing a lot of good work towards moving to a zero carbon, zero waste future. But my headline reads, "The world's first hydrogen-powered cargo vessel to set sail in Paris this year." And this is in our transportation section, but it's also environment section and energy section, because everything is interconnected, right? And this article is about the world's first commercial hydrogen-powered cargo vessel, which will actually make its maiden voyage later this year. And this is coming down the line for cargo vessels all over the globe, but this will be the first one that actually gets on the water. And it's located in France and will be developed by French ship owner Compagnie Fluviale Transport, CFT. It'll be the first cargo ship to run on hydrogen, and it will be deployed on the River Seine in Paris. This is a freshwater cargo vessel. Mm-hmm. It's designed to operate on compressed hydrogen, which is produced from electrolysis. So that's green hydrogen, as opposed to the kind of hydrogen you get from breaking apart methane and natural gas. And it's designed to only operate on the inland water routes, but it is a milestone in the move away from diesel-powered ships, which are quite dirty, towards a cleaner fuel, which is green hydrogen. The EU is doing a lot to move towards a hydrogen economy. I've been following some of the work that's been going on in the Iberian Peninsula, which is being heavily invested in by the EU. The UK is moving towards figuring out how to make hydrogen cheaply and then distribute it cheaply. And this is, I think, where the European Union really sees an opportunity to get to a zero emission transportation and energy profile, is investing heavily in green hydrogen and in the vessels and cars and buses and trains that run on this fuel. So I think this is an interesting story. It's just another milestone on the path towards a zero emission world.
Well, and what I think is interesting about this is when we think about transportation and we think about increasing use of green power, part of that also comes from reducing the distances things are delivered, right? So looking at our waterways and looking at our closed circuit, intracontinental and intercontinental waterways, as opposed to just looking at major shipping to and from the ocean and, all the boats lined up out of Port of Galveston and Port of Los Angeles, but instead also thinking about the ways that we green up transportation in a country is really, really important. The Seine is a beautiful river. It could be one of those things that might even go unnoticed to realize that just by having traditional diesel cargo ships on the Seine is an impact on the local environment. So it's not just the big solutions that need to be attacked, but also things like how do we make our riverways, wherever we live, also more efficient and greener.
Right. And if you think about it, this is why the moving towards electric fleet vehicles and electric buses, electric trucks, that's another part of that. So it's the long distance shipping, and then it's also the shorter term shipping, and then the last mile. And all of these things need to be addressed. This is a middle of the ground shipping. That's what this particular opportunity is. Speaking of cleaning up our rivers and our waterways and our land, what are you going to be talking about today?
All right. Well, I am going to talk about trash. So let me start by saying that when I drive Brennan to school every day, there is a gentleman who lives in the neighborhood where her school is. And when I say neighborhood, these are multi-acre ranch-like lots, right?
Texas
Everything's
neighborhoods.
Exactly. This is not
Texas.
my, traditional 18 houses in a block in California where I used to live. And so this gentleman, every day, it took me a few days to figure out what he was doing, but every single day he is walking up and down the street. He's just walking along with a trash bag and one of the long grabbers. And he is just tidying up this stretch of road. And I just love how much work he's doing, but he also seems to be like, that's just his daily walk, right? This is how he exercises, and he waves at everybody.
It makes me think of David Sedaris, who's the humorist writer, and he's obsessive compulsive, and that's what he does. He cleans up the land. I think he was knighted by the Queen of England for all of his work in delitterizing the roadways.
Yeah. And so, here is just one person who is heavily committed to this as a lifestyle. And he seems like a charming guy. And, I love seeing him every morning, and I get excited to wave to him, and I tell Brennan to wave to him. And what we have to think about is what is our impact? What is our choice and our impact? And right now we are managing our own property here, and we have had to just do a big overhaul of mowing. My husband has been working his tail off getting all the grass mowed. But what it has left us with is 19 bags, plastic bags of yard waste that we are now going to work on trying to figure out a way of using in an efficient manner without just adding to more landfill. Well, this headline sort of taps into that feeling of how do we reduce our waste and how do we clean it up? And the headline reads, "New app aims to cut plastic waste at the source by tracking leakage points." So basically, using an app to understand the tidal directions and the way that trash pools up and identifying where it came from is the goal. Basically, this app is a new app created by scientists in Norway, which is planning to create a model that shows where plastic collects and then find out where it comes from. It's intended to help cleanup crews, right? But they also intend to make it available to beachgoers who could walk along the shoreline and log trash, right? Not only pick it up, but log that it's there. They would take a picture of it and enter the GPS coordinates through the app, and then ideally also dispose of it. Basically then access a visual database to identify what the object is and account for factors like ocean currents, tides, and weather patterns to estimate the ocean route that the item took before ending up on the sand. Now, what they'll do is identify particular hotspots of plastic litter accumulation. Where is this really coming from? And then go and speak with local authorities, but also offer resources to help that community minimize its plastic waste distribution and use. So it's pretty exciting. 100 people have tested the app during the Norwegian Ocean Trash Pickup Project, and it should be ready for rollout by next spring. I love this solution because it's activist science, at home community participation, and it gets everybody really aware that the trash that may end up on your shores did not originate there, and we are all interconnected. So I love this app. I can't wait to have it.
It's sort of like that upstream thinking, where you go and find where the kid's being thrown into the river up the stream.
Exactly.
Instead of just saving him when he gets down to you where you are, let's figure out what the hotspots are so that's where the source of the plastic litter accumulation can be noted, and that's where you have to put more resources.
Yeah, it's one of those solutions that I think taps into everybody and, taps into our daily lives, and I'm excited to see it. So I can't wait. I hope they make it available on Android. Please. What is that chat app you're on that's probably not even still available on Android?
Oh, the Clubhouse?
Yeah. Clubhouse, yeah. I mean, so this, don't make it like Clubhouse, Norwegian app designers. Please make it available on Android. Let's see, we've got some other great stories on the Optimist Daily today, as always, here on this Monday, ambiguous day of April. One of them reads, "Smell therapy is offering relief for patients with long COVID. That helps them retrain their noses to learn smell and taste in a positive experience. Britain's electricity grid sees greenest day ever over Easter." Well done, Britain. 4 eco-conscious innovations that make biking more accessible. What else do we have?
There's an article about how name pronunciation can make you a better colleague and ally. Also, in the business world, there's a study that just came out that shows diverse corporate boards see lower risk and higher rate of return on equity. That's adding women to the boards really does make a difference. And having diversity on your boards is a good thing for your company. Urban development upgrades that will outlast the pandemic. And this is a very interesting story about how these upgrades will make life better as we come out of this pandemic period. Advanced suture design mimics human tendons in order to promote healing. Ford is issuing a PSA to help fight vaccine misinformation. And that is it for today's Optimist Daily Update, everybody. Thank you so much for listening today. We promise to keep sharing positive solution-based stories with ideas and inspiration on how you can get active and participate in this changing world to help ensure it is changed for the good. And if you are not already an emissary, please consider joining us there on theoptimistdaily.com. And for just $5 a month, you can help support reader-funded independent journalism like The Optimist Daily and help be a part of the solution-changing consciousness that addresses our world's biggest challenges with that problem-solving mindset.
Let's keep The Optimist Daily free to those who need it, supported by those who can. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.